Hello, ladies and gentlemen. After that very last controversial video, I think it's time I make something a little more casual, right? Because, I'm very happy about this. You guys already know my opinions. If you've been in the streams, if you've seen my reaction to the leak about the free limited 5-star selector we will be getting in version 4, right? Now, I thought this would be an amazing time to make a video on my polling plans, because obviously this affects the polling plans on both of my accounts, and it's a massive, and I don't understate this, right? It is a massive boost to my original polling plans. So what were my original polling plans on both of my accounts? I have a Cassie account, and I as well have this Anoxa account, which I have kept free to play for quite a while since its existence, so it could be relatable towards my fan base, right? So when it comes to my Anoxa account, most people are already aware of the polling plan I had for this one. What I wanted was to pick up Buff Sparkle, because I was truly astonished by how much exactly they buffed her by. And I have an E1 Archer, right? I got E0 S1 Archer for free since I bought Sunday and E1 Tribby on 3.4 during their reruns, and I picked up an E1 Archer at some point during 3.5 or 3.6. So not only does getting Sparkle obviously massively buff my Archer now, however, at the same time, I free up my Sunday and allow myself to put him on Anoxa's team, which is also a buff, because if you've been seeing my free-to-play endgame clears with this account, I have been running my Anoxa with fully free-to-play team. E1 May, which I got from Golden Tokens, RMC, and Gallagher, right? So I get to use my Sunday on my Anoxa, and I get to use Sparkle on my Archer account, making him significantly stronger. After this, the deal was to basically go for Himiko SP and as well as Cyrene on a rerun. Now, the thing is, it's a little tricky, right? Because even though Buff Sparkle is absolutely amazing for Archer, guess what? Ceridra's rerunning on this newest patch as well. So I would have had to choose between pulling Buff Sparkle or Ceridra, either or. I would have chosen Sparkle because she makes a bigger difference for my Anoxa. However, because Sparkle is now free on this limited selector, I can ignore that, get my guaranteed Ceridra, even try to maybe pity for her E1, and I'll likely be able to guarantee Cyrene whenever she reruns in likely 3.1 or later, right? So, legit, because of this free Sparkle, I went from likely not being able to guarantee my Anoxa's full team, which I'd been saving up for quite a while now, to now being able to fully afford Ceridra, possibly even try for E1, get Cyrene down the line, and have two fully built teams with some of their best in slots. I mean, this Sparkle free limited selector changes absolutely fucking everything for this free-to-play account, right? Now, let's move on to my Cassie account. This one also benefits from Buff Sparkle. Usually, in a lot of cases, what I do with my accounts, because they're different, I try to get different characters. However, the thing is, I'm getting Sparkle on both of them because Sparkle will enable me to play these different characters. While on my Anoxa account, I'm picking up Buff Sparkle for my Archer. On my Castress account, I'm picking up Buff Sparkle for Sparksy, right? So my Cassie account will be trying to get both Sparksy and as well as Yao Guang. At first, when I had no idea of this selector, once again, just like my Anoxa account, it was looking very bleak for me being able to afford this entire team. I was even willing to possibly only get like an E00 Yao Guang, since it's not even guaranteed that I can get 2 5-stars if I have the worst possible luck. So Yao Guang and then Sparksy, and then I'd run it pretty scuffed, but it should clear because they're getting shilled currently. However, because of this selector, I'll technically have Sparksy's entire current best in slot team right off the bat, right? Yao Guang, Sparksy, Buff Sparkle, and of course the best sustain for them, or most comfortable one, is Dan Heng PT, right? So Buff Sparkle has legitimately saved my polling plans on both of my accounts. This is why, if you guys watch my video when it was basically confirmed by Anon Leaks that this thing existed and Sparkle was in it, this is why you saw genuine joy from me. Probably the most joy I've ever had across any of my HSR videos talking about the rewards we've gotten in this game. It saves both of my accounts polling plans completely and allows me to get much further ahead. So of course, if you don't want to put credit into this leak, sure, you can wait until the live stream. However, I'll just drop this real quick. Anon Leaks is the most reliable leaker in the game, and he's only gotten one leak wrong in the history of his leaks, being he guessed a Castris rerun wrong, right? That's it. That's literally the only bad leak they've had, even though they've been in the game for like a year at this point, and they've done a absolute shit ton of leaks. They've also leaked free Dan Heng PT and free Archer before as well, for your guys' information. So while I understand why some may want to be cautious, they don't want to have their expectations betrayed because they got too hyped up for leaks. I mean, this kind of happened in WUA when people were throwing around old 1.x selector on Annie, and as well as free Chacona, right? People got betrayed by the leakers. However, those leakers weren't exactly the most reliable, while Anon Leaks is basically the most reliable leaker possible in the entirety of this space. Let me know who you guys are going to end up picking up. I know there's like Aventurine and Acheron and stuff, but truthfully, the only two characters really worth getting on this selector are Buff Sparkle and Kafka. Buff Sparkle is like in her own tier, right? Kafka is like, okay, so if Buff Sparkle, if it was like S plus to, let's say, D, right? Sparkle is in S plus. Kafka is in A, right? She's absolutely amazing for Dot. Dot basically needs Kafka to even function at all. However, because she doesn't have anywhere near the general value of Sparkle, I'm making that much of a differentiation between the tiers, right? So Kafka's in A, Buff Sparkle's like an S plus, literally the strongest hyper carry buffer in the entire game right now, and then everybody else is like B or lower, right? Acheron is a little questionable. Like you can't get Acheron's light code. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of a problem someone brought up to me, which to be honest is pretty true. You can't grab Acheron's Lycone even if you can grab her for free, and in the first place Acheron is already quite dated, right? I think most people would be able to agree with me. It's not that she can't clear if you get her teammates, but if you don't have her teammates and you're like just investing into Acheron, I mean, good fucking luck, right? And I'd say the third most valuable unit is probably Avin, since he's a sustain. A lot of people argue about, you know, Avin becoming way less comfortable to use as obviously time went on and we got the sustain creep, enemies doing too much damage. If you build them well enough, I still think you'll be mostly fine. However, yes, I agree, Avin, you know, I wouldn't really waste a selector on him, right? There really is almost no other characters you should be looking at aside from Buff Sparkle and Kafka. Of course, once again, you can play the game however you want, choose whoever you want. I'd seen a few posts and comments of people saying, oh, I'm getting Dan Heng, I'm getting Jing Yuan, right? Like, people genuinely don't give a shit about meta sometimes, and sometimes that is the best way to have fun and enjoy playing these games. However, you're on a meta channel, okay? So this meta channel is going to tell you to get meta. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.